What do you got?
Free-range chicken on a baguette with mozzarella and sun-dried tomatoes.
Tasty.
What are you eating?
Steak tartare.
For lunch?
I didn't feel like cooking. Carl.
Bologna?
Hey guys, mind if I join you?
Hey, Wendy, how you doing?
Sit right down.
So, did everybody read the memo?
Oh, you mean about the cut and pay?
About us losing our parking spaces?
No, I mean about the work group.
Oh, forget
I'm
about it. I
eating.
don't want
I'm
to hear
eating here,
about
all
it.
right?
Is that steak tartare?
Yeah.
Nice.
No offense, guys, but about this work group thing, I mean, I kind of pride myself on being an independent.
I mean, I can't believe they think people spend all their time sharing information with other people who aren't even in their department.
I mean, some of my best friends are in finance, but...
Exactly.
I hear you.
Carol, free-range chicken?
Would you like some?
Yeah, there's-
I've got my own problems. Harding wants the sales figures for the past 5 years on his desk by 2 o'clock.
Is that for the Acme pitch?
Been trying to get that account for what, 16 years?
16 and a half.
You know, I got the numbers for that. Why don't I send a spreadsheet to you on the network?
Great.
All right.
You know what bothers me most about this work group idea? Makes me feel like a number.
What's your network address?
64213.
Got it.
Oh, and I need everyone's bios who's working on the business.
Oh, mine's out of date.
Well, I could put the one we have on the personnel department server.
Great, I'll edit it and I'll send it to you.
Send me a copy.
I will.
How could they think we would be productive working in a group?
I don't know what they were thinking. Can you guys help me with this?
Sure.
You know, Carl, I have some of the figures on Acme's competitors they might want to see. John, you gonna eat that?
No. Here you go.
Thanks.
That's great. Send it to me. Do you know my address?
213, thanks.
You guys know about the new proposal format?
I need a copy of that.
So do I.
I'll send you a template.
Oh, I need a template.
I need a
too.
template.
Send you all the
Oh, you
templates.
guys, I'm sorry, I gotta go.
You gonna eat that?
It's all yours.
Thank you.
Wendy, don't let this work group thing bother you.
No, it's just another dumb corporate idea. In 2 weeks, they'll forget all about it.
Okay, see you later, guys. Have a
Okay,
good day.
bye-bye.
Can you believe they thought that people could actually get together informally and get anything done?
I know. You know what it sounds like to me?
Bologna?
Ooh, that looks
Sure.
good.
In today's fast-paced, high-tech world, effectively managing information is the hallmark of success in business. That's why more than 15 million people worldwide rely on Borland's award-winning database, spreadsheet, and application development software. Borland offers innovative client-server and workgroup computing solutions that are open, scalable, and robust. That's why hundreds of people are gathering this afternoon in the heart of New York's Theater District to hear about Borland's unique software solutions for managing information and increasing corporate productivity. Live from historic Hudson Theater in New York City, Borland International presents Software for the Way You Work.
Thank you. Welcome to Software for the Way You Work. Should be fun, and I guess it's already fun. We're actually here to do a lot of things. Who are you?
Well, I'm Kathy Shambly, and I'm going to be your co-host.
Yeah, and actually she's much funnier than I am, so she's going to talk much more to act. But we're here first to talk about what we're going to do today, which is announce 7 new products. 7 new products. I mean, that's a lot. And 2 new technologies, and they're all kind of shipping or shipping within 30 days. So that's probably the biggest software event in the history of our company. Those new products are 3 from the Quattro Pro family. That's our spreadsheet. And these guys are already, they're getting ready here. And 4 products from our Paradox family. So the 3 spreadsheet products are Quattro Pro 5.0 for DOS and Windows, and the Quattro Pro 5.0 Workgroup Edition. Then you have the Paradox products, so you have Paradox 4.5 for DOS, Paradox 4.5 for Windows, Paradox 4.5 for Windows Workgroup Edition, and finally the Paradox 4.5 Developers Toolkit. The 2 technologies are our client-server SQL link technology, as well as OBEX, which is the technology behind Workgroup Desktop, which is what becomes part of your software, makes the Workgroup Edition together with the SQL connections. And we'll talk more about that today. So it's a lot of stuff.
It's a lot of stuff, and a lot of it sounds like it's about information flow, and that's why those people are out here. They're going to clear that whole idea up for us a little bit. Let's watch it.
I'm Richard Schwartz, Borland's Chief Technical Officer, and these people over here are a typical work group. Maybe they were in a work group this morning, maybe they weren't in a work group yesterday, but they are now. One of the characteristics of work groups is that they're dynamic. Different people coming together at different times to solve some problem, which means the paths of information flow have to be just as dynamic. Let's say these people have come together to create a marketing plan for a new product. That means working with information from sales, from marketing, from finance, and from manufacturing.
This is information they have to revise, refine, share, tabulate, cross-tabulate, and present.
Okay, I better get this to John.
So Carol sends her information to John. Maybe it's by email.
No.
Maybe she hand carries a diskette.
All right.
Maybe she just takes her written notes. Which means Carol goes to the 3rd floor. I'm sorry, that's the 23rd floor.
Ding, ding. Shh. Here you go.
Thank you very much.
So John gets a diskette from Carol. He emails a memo to Wendy.
Boop, boop. Ah.
He takes a hard copy of his report to Carl.
Heads up. Hey!
Wendy emails her comments to everybody.
Boop, boop.
Ah.
And Carl takes John an annotated copy of the hard copy.
Heads up. Mine.
Oh no, I forgot to travel.
How'd you get this, John? What's a matter? Excuse me. Pardon me.
Excuse me.
So Carol revises her input, which she hand carries to John,
On the 23rd floor.
Thank you.
Welcome.
who updates his copy and sends a new email to Wendy telling her to ignore the old email.
Boop, boop. Ah.
Then John throws away the annotated comments from Carl
Pull!
and sends Carl a new hard copy report.
Heads up! Hey!
Lands on Carl's desk where he annotates it, copies it, puts it alongside the first draft, and after a few more review cycles, Carl won't have any idea which draft is current.
I think it's that one.
No, it's definitely
This is it.
Tilt, 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 tilt.
With all this new data, everyone can revise his or her work until the data changes again.
What?
And this is just a simple example because everyone's in the same location. But what if Carl is in a branch office
See ya.
and Wendy is traveling on business
Gotta go.
and Carol's at an offsite in Palm Springs
Golfing?
and then John is over in...
We don't want to hear about it.
Oh.
Let's get out of here. This is ridiculous.
For a system like this to work, everybody's got to cooperate in the job of managing information. It's a little bit like shaking hands. You just can't do it alone. And since different people are using different and most often incompatible tools to handle their information, everybody spends a lot of their own time converting things to the way they work. In fact, that's kind of another flaw in most of today's solutions. They force people to operate within a structure that doesn't really agree with the way they work. What they need is a way to deliver and exchange information, whatever information they want, with whomever they want, whenever they want, and wherever they are. That's information flow.
That's right, Richard. And now at Borland, we've got a solution to the problem. A solution that enables the work groups to come together to share information in a dynamic way, and yet it's flexible enough to fit the group even if the task changes.
Which we're about to prove with an incredibly carefully rehearsed, well-planned demo.
Not. What we're going to show is Borland's work group solution in action.
All right. With the help of a real work group and a spontaneous demonstration, all right?
That's right. And it's spontaneous because we're going to create that work group problem right now with the help of our audience right here in the theater who are excited to help us, and with a work group. Now, we've got Andrew in marketing. He's at 1675 Broadway, a few blocks away. Tim in finance is at another office in the same building. And Tim and Andrew will stay connected using WordPerfect Office. In a hotel room in the nearby Macklowe Hotel is Peter, the Vice President of Sales. Since Peter is traveling, he's going to stay connected with his work group using a modem and MCI mail. Finally, there's Ken, the MIS manager. He's located right here at the Hudson Theater. And Ken's connected to the main office at 1675 Broadway via a wide area network.
Okay, so in less than an hour, Peter has to present a pricing analysis to the CEO of his company. And a few minutes ago, the CEO changed his mind.
Oh, wow, that's a once-in-a-lifetime occurrence.
And called Peter and requested some specific new information to be included in the presentation.
And what information is that? All right, that's where we need your help. In this demonstration, you are the CEO, one big, huge CEO, and you're going to get to pick. Okay, so what world region would you want in this presentation? We're going to show you the ones to choose from, and all you got to do is shout it out. Maybe somebody from the real far back to the left here.
Scandinavia.
Scandinavia. Okay, great. Okay, so the Scandinavia is where we're going to come from.
We'll do Asia later, okay?
So now what product line? Off the rack or designer?
Designer.
The designer.
That's the low volume, high price stuff, right?
Right. Okay. Now, what financial analysis do you want our work group to do to support the pricing information? The sales by channel. Okay.
Pretty consistent out there, aren't they?
They know their stuff, it sounds like.
Okay, you're pretty demanding.
Well, that's
what do we do?
A demanding CEO. That's redundant. Okay, so let's recap. Peter must present a pricing analysis for the designer product line in the Scandinavia region. To support the pricing, the work group must analyze its data by using sales by channel.
Okay.
All right.
Can
we do it?
Well, I hope so. Let's work on it.
We better get to work.
We're talking about something new here today. People have talked about local area networks and wide area networks. We're talking about a world area network. We're talking about simplifying messaging. We're talking about enabling information consumers to move whatever it is they need to move to communicate either their business or their technology or their science. The magic really is the messaging backbone of MCI Mail, which lays in behind this OBEX interface, which is the customer-machine interaction. We're excited about this because this is an entirely new concept. We've worked collaboratively. We've been in each other's development laboratories. Borland, Philippe himself is an addictive mail user, as we all are at MCI. And we know what this can do because we've been playing with it now for months. Really powerful.
Now, John, you're the newest one here. Why don't you begin?
Oh, I can't.
You must.
I can't.
You must.
I can't.
You will.
Okay.
All right.
Hi, my name is John, and I have software shock syndrome.
Hi, John.
At 27, I would have been the youngest salesman ever to make product manager. All I had to do was email these fantastic sales figures to the home office by noon. Unfortunately, look, I can't do this.
You must.
I can't.
You must.
I can't.
You will.
Okay.
All right.
They changed the software.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I mean, one day it's email, links, and icons. The next day it's items, objects, and local nets.
And you just couldn't take it.
No, I mean, I thought I had a handle on it. I mean, I did.
We know how you feel, John.
We're right there with you, buddy.
I mean, all my knowledge about computers, my experience, the terminology. Somebody tell me it wasn't for nothing.
You know, you're a baby.
Excuse me?
Get a life. Grow up.
Aren't you supposed to support me?
You think you're the first one who ever had their email ripped out from under them? You're not. You think you're the first one who ever had to change their software? You're not. He did, she did, I did twice. But are we babies? Are we cowards?
I feel I am because I suck my...
No, we are not babies and cowards. And you know why? Because united we stand. Stand.
Oh, I thought it was rhetorical. I'm sorry. I didn't know.
All right, now join hands, and we'll begin.
Grant me the serenity to accept the software I cannot change, the courage to change the software I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Thank you. Thank you. Thank You know what? You're right. I am going to change my life. I'm going to accept change. I'm going to embrace it. I'm going to love change.
I've got some change.
Good, I take the bus home. That's good.
All right, John, I think you're going to be just fine. In fact, I'm so confident that I'm ready to turn you over to our new group leader.
Whoa, no, new. That's too much change. I can't accept that.
You must.
I can't.
You must.
I can't.
You will.
Okay, hi, how are you? It's nice to meet you.
As we've just seen, any new software solution that doesn't protect the individual's investment in training and knowledge and skill is counterproductive, even dangerous, as we've seen. To explain how our workgroup solution builds on the knowledge base and fits into the existing structure, please welcome Daniel Clausen, our workgroup product manager.
Thank you, Richard. It's exciting to be here today.
Daniel, maybe for starters, you could say a little bit about what is overall the general Borland solution for workgroups. What is it?
Well, the Borland solution for workgroups is to make a natural extension of the existing products, databases, spreadsheets, and word processors, to allow these products to share information like they'd never have been able to do before.
So you're talking about new capabilities and functions in existing products?
Well, these are new capabilities, and they're surfaced directly through the user interface of the product. In the Borland products, it surfaced through something called the Workgroup desktop. That's shipping in our Quattro Pro 5.0 for Windows and the soon-to-be released Paradox for Windows.
And how does this leverage the existing infrastructure? I mean, what does all that mean? How do we protect these guys that were over here?
Well, these people are already productive using the software that they're currently working with today. We want to extend that software and allow them to share information and receive information in a much more easy fashion, a much easier way to get that information to exchange.
I guess this is some kind of Borland-only solution, though, isn't it?
Well, it's actually not. We have a workgroup enabling kit so that any application developer or system integrator can add these capabilities to their products.
Sounds pretty good. Sounds pretty good.
Daniel, did you just recently complete a video about this
As a matter of
workgroup
fact, I
desktop? Great. Well, by any chance, did you bring a clip with you?
Well, yes, I did.
All right.
Well, why don't we take a look at it? Everybody in the theater, watch the big screen. Roll it.
I'd like to talk to you about the Workgroup desktop and how it extends existing applications so groups of users can work together more effectively. The Workgroup desktop allows your current applications to use the information that has been shared with you and allows you to share information with other users in your workgroup. Let's take a look at the Workgroup desktop as it appears in Paradox 4.5 for Windows. As you can see, the Workgroup desktop shows up just as another icon bar in the user interface of the product. We have a Publish button. The Publish button allows us to describe exactly the information that we want to share with exactly the right people that we need to share that information with. The next button is the Use button. This allows us to use the information into our current work that has been provided to us by other users. We have the polling icon. This allows us to control the underlying transports so that you can choose which transport you need to use at exactly the time it's available to you. This is the Workgroup desktop as it appears in Quattro Pro for Windows 5.0. You can see it's an icon bar pulled down just like all the other icon bars on the screen. This allows you to control, again, exactly the information that you want to share with the users that you need to share that with. And it provides the controls so that you can use information in your current work that has been shared with you. The Use button allows you to integrate information that has been provided to you by other people in your work group. We have here an icon that controls the address book. This allows you to use the same address book that you might be using in Paradox for Windows, or you could have a separate address book, one for Paradox and one for Quattro. We have again the Control button, the panel that allows you to use the underlying collaboration services that is being provided below the application level. So clicking on the poll icon allows you to choose exactly the types of transports that you need to use at a given time. As you can see, this icon bar is a natural extension of the way a Quattro Pro for User is already working today. This allows them to seamlessly extend the information that they're sharing, whether it's across the hall, across the company, or around the world.
That was very good, Daniel. And you're saying that all that Workgroup desktop stuff is working across all the different transports or what?
That's correct, Richard. These transports are any ways that computers are currently connected together, whether it's some kind of a wire. It's local area networks, wide area networks, through email systems, even global access email systems like MCI Mail.
Even through their 2 changes they talked about, huh?
Absolutely, and it's completely transparent to the user. They don't know the difference between using one transport versus using another. It's all hidden for them.
Sounds good. I'm sure your video is going to do very well, too.
Great.
Listen, we'll be right back. Thanks, Daniel.
Thank you.
We can use Workgroup Edition to publish notebooks or notebook pages to sites we have located in Ohio, Indiana, and Michigan. And actually we have sites worldwide, France, Mexico as well. What we're looking to do is publish that information to the sites. They will perform numerical or graphical analysis with that information. Then they would in turn publish a notebook or notebook page back to us. We collect that data, put it into a database, a Paradox database. We can in turn publish that database back to all of the sites, so each site can work to coordinate their activities. They don't have to reinvent the same business methods that another site invented. They don't have to necessarily do the same analysis that another site did. They can really reap the benefits of the work that all the sites are doing. We have to work smarter.
So how are we doing so far?
Well, you know, Philippe, I have to be honest. I'm a layperson. I'm listening to all the stuff that's going on. And I've heard these same kind of terms used from a lot of other companies talking about their workgroup solutions. I mean, words like dynamic, flexible, those are easy words. They're used a lot. So if I was an MIS manager or an analyst in the industry, I'd have to ask you, so what's the difference?
Yeah, and that's a conversation Richard and I had like 3 years ago when we started developing the vision for this approach. We were looking at what people were doing, and we're talking to customers to find out what it is that they really wanted. And, you know, people were talking about the client-server revolution, a whole bunch of things. We realized at the point that, you know, everybody's not going to be tapping into databases, pulling data down and doing things like that. But really that MIS wanted to maintain some form of a glasshouse, even in client-server environments, but yet be able to publish some of this information in a way that a meaningful and long-term relationship would be maintained from what's published to what the users would use. You know, kind of the difference between a one-night stand and a meaningful relationship. Well, no, I'm just trying to relate to... Sorry, I mean,
good analogy.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at this. Anyway, the bottom line was that we felt that people were talking about sharing things of a bulletin board, et cetera, but really what people wanted is to establish relationships between objects, and then, you know, that materialized in what Richard started building, which was OBEX, et cetera. And the idea was, hey, what we need to do is to leverage the existing infrastructure. If someone likes Lotus Notes, perfect. It's there. That's the infrastructure. We'll use it. WordPerfect Office, we'll use it. But you can't assume that everybody's going to have already an infrastructure in place. As a matter of fact, most companies in the world don't have one, and they need an infrastructure that grows with their needs. So that was the flexibility we were looking for, and that's what you built.
That's true. I mean, 2 people with a wire are just as much of a work group as a whole company or enterprise. Exactly right.
And you can't count on the fact that everybody's going to be on the same network. For example, you know, if I'm traveling, I'm probably on MCI Mail, and if I'm building a model that uses some of Richard's data that's gathered from a Paradox query to some Oracle database, I want to make sure that when that data changes, if it's part of my model gets updated. Well, if I'm only connected via MCI Mail, I want to make sure that my model gets updated via MCI Mail. I'm not necessarily on the Novell network or something like that. And if I'm only reachable by fax, I want to receive a message that says, hey, you know, this data has changed. So the whole idea is to provide flexibility and the ability to leverage the existing infrastructure and get maximum return on investment. I mean, that's kind of the difference.
Well, you know, we've got a work group all in place, so let's go see the differences put in practice.
Let's do it. Okay, who do we have? Who do we check in with?
Well, let's start with the person who owns the corporate database, and that'd be Ken.
Okay, Ken in MIS, are you up there?
Hi, Richard.
How you doing?
Pretty good. I'm currently running a client-server application that was developed with the new Paradox for Windows.
Gotcha. So you're in Paradox for Windows now, and what is this app?
This particular app used to be a mainframe app. Now it's a client-server app using Paradox for Windows and Oracle data. So if I want to report on particular closing items, I just select the particular item and run the query, and it'll produce a report.
That's great. That's great. Listen, have you been pulled into this crisis for that sales report?
As a matter of fact, I was. And while you were speaking, I generated a query that accessed my Oracle data. I use interactive query by example within Paradox for Windows to transparently access my Oracle data, which I then published to marketing so they could begin the job.
So you're saying that that query is using data that's stored in an Oracle server and pulling it all together in Paradox, huh?
That's correct.
Huh. Now, how did you get that out? You said finance and some other people needed it. How did you get that information out?
That's correct. I went up to the Workgroup desktop, and as you can see here, I published actuals to Andrew Murray in marketing as well as Tim Hudson in marketing.
So you set up a publication, kind of an MIS report, as Philippe talked about.
That's correct. And using Novell's MHS transport, they were able to receive the data.
Gotcha.
Thanks, Ken. Next, we're going to take a look behind the scenes of this Workgroup solution and into the technology that makes it tick.
Okay, welcome back. Listen, we've just taken a look at Paradox and client server and workgroup interaction with Ken and MIS. I think it's appropriate to talk a little bit more about that, and I can't think of a better person to talk with as our next guest than Senior Vice President and General Manager of our Client Server Division, Rob Dickerson.
Thank you, Richard.
Rob, I just put together in the same sentence the words client server and workgroup. Do they go together? I mean, how do they fit together?
Yes, they fit together in several ways. In a sense, both of these things are technology that is being added to mainstream products in order to allow groups of users to share information and work together. While they're both reaching that same end, the advantages that either offers are different.
What are those different advantages? How does that work?
That's going to depend on the type of user that you are and the way you're connected to the data. For now, let's divide users into two groups. One of those groups could be consumers of data. An example of that would be a salesperson who needs information from the database about pricing, about product availability, but really is not responsible for maintaining the database itself. And then the second category would be the database manager, the person that is responsible for maintaining that data, a developer, a database administrator, an MIS person, and so forth.
Kind of like Ken in MIS. He's one of those people responsible for managing, is that right?
That's correct. Ken would be on the tightly bound to database side, and there are several advantages that he gets by extending client server to include the workgroup capabilities as well. One of those is that he broadens his reach. He's able to distribute information to a much wider group of users because he can access more transports, more ways of getting information from one place to another. The second is he has greater control over how that information is disseminated because not only can he specify which parts of the data different users can see, but he can also specify the time, the instant in time in which it's appropriate to communicate that information.
Gotcha. And on that other side, you said consumer side, what's happening there?
Well, on the consumer side, there are also several advantages. One of them is that as a consumer of data, I can unplug my PC, take it with me, and do work and still have my data, even though I'm not connected up to the database. The second advantage is that as a consumer of data, once it is sent to me, it's now my personal data, and I can interact with it just as if it was any other personal data. And then finally, there's a combination of workgroup and client server that's an advantage for the consumer. And to do this, let's use a metaphor where one case, workgroup, would be similar to a magazine subscription, where you are looking to an expert, a publisher, that knows about a particular topic, the topic of the magazine, and selects articles that are appropriate that you, the subscriber, would be interested in. Client server is more like a library, where you can go into a large source of information and browse around and pick out the data that you want to put together yourself. Both have unique advantages.
And Rob, did your group just recently finish a video about this?
Yes, in fact, we did.
And I'm just going to take a wild stab. Did you bring a clip with you?
Yes, I brought a clip in fact.
I think we should take a look. What do you think? Roll that clip.
The Object Exchange is the underlying collaboration engine that is providing the workgroup services to the applications running on your desktop. The Object Exchange is an application also running on the desktop, and each application communicates to it through an interprocess control language. The Object Exchange provides those services across a wide number of transports, including local area networks, wide area networks, and email systems like MCI, Microsoft Mail, or CC Mail. The Object Exchange is also providing the services for managing the subscribers of each of the publications that you've sent, as well as the versions of the information that you've received from other people, like word processing data, spreadsheet data, and database data.
Back to the A-list. Darn this computer! Where is that report?
It's dark again.
Oh, now I've got something, but I don't know which version this is. How am I supposed to know which is which? This is so frustrating!
It's your meeting.
Who are you?
I am the genie in your computer.
You don't look like a genie.
Neither does Robin Williams.
Well, if you're a genie, where's your little midriff outfit?
Oh, how politically incorrect. I mean, this is 1993, not 736.
Sorry.
Besides that, I'm a corporate genie. You typed my name into your computer and I appeared.
Your name is ASDF JKL semicolon Amelmehe?
That's it. You should have heard it before I shortened it.
Well, okay. I mean, if you're a genie, give me 3 wishes.
Your wish is my command.
You know, I wish that when I was connected to my work group, I had all the up-to-date information on the things we were working on right on the screen.
Okay.
Hey! It's all there.
I know.
That was great. That was so easy.
Well, we genies are user-friendly.
But wait a minute. What if the information changes? Then it really wouldn't be so good, because it wouldn't be current. I mean, what would I do then?
Is this a wish? Because if it's a wish, it must be stated in the wish format. I wish, etc.
Wish format. I wish that all the data would get updated automatically. Wow, it's changing right on the screen.
Yeah.
All the sales information, and the inventory, and the projections. Have you always been able to do this?
Well, I'm a genie. It's in my genes.
Wow. Now, oh, wait a minute. Are you trying to pull a fast one? I mean, there are 6 versions of the sales reports, 8 versions of the inventory. How am I supposed to know which is the current one?
I can't hear you.
Oh, wish format. I wish that the computer would automatically update the versions.
Third one is always the hardest.
It's great. You did it.
I know.
Everyone will be so productive. This will change the world. I'll be famous. Yes, yes, yes. Ha ha.
What's with him? He's usually so quiet, so inward, so shy.
You know, he never told me his name.
That's Philippe Kahn.
Thank you, Philippe. You know, establishing the flow of information from person to person, it's really only part of the workgroup story. The other part is freeing people from the job of managing that flow. At Borland, we have kind of a chief of information flow. not exactly, but I guess product management is something like that, isn't it? I'd like to introduce our Vice President of Product Management and Marketing, David Watkins, to talk about stuff. David?
Richard, great to be here.
You know, we've talked a little bit about the object exchange and the concept of information flow. How does that happen in the object exchange? What's it all mean?
The object exchange is the piece of the application that provides the collaborative services for the application itself. The idea being that the user doesn't have to worry about what's happening under the covers. OBEX, Object Exchange, handles all those communications. It also works very much that way in whatever application you're using, database, spreadsheets, whether you're in a Borland product where you would see the Workgroup desktop, or in a product that's built by a third party where they may surface that in some other way. But whatever application it is in, it follows a metaphor that we call publish and subscribe for getting that information.
Say a little bit more about this publish and subscribe?
Well, it's actually, as Rob was drawing the analogy earlier on magazines, it works very much the same way, and it is pretty much that easy, pretty much that simple to use. The idea being a user of an application, existing application that is OBEX enabled, chooses which information they want to publish. Then they can choose the user list, the group, those are the subscribers. And then under the covers, OBEX handles all the versions that the publisher may send out, and for the user manages all the versions they're receiving within their applications and allowing them to integrate that information into the application itself. For example, an MIS user that we're seeing there with Ken is distributing information worldwide to a sales group that may be using Quattro Pro. He may use a paradox table and put out a spreadsheet. Another group may use a different product, Excel, another product for revenue forecasts. They want to do ongoing revenue projections over a 6-week average. So it gives existing users the ability to share information much more dynamically through the publish and subscribe metaphor.
Really kind of go with the flow, huh?
Yeah, or something along those lines.
Now, David, did your group just recently, let's just roll that clip.
We said that information flow is the key to workgroup productivity. Publish and subscribe is the process of managing that information flow. The publisher originates the information and chooses exactly who the subscribers should be and when they should receive new updates of that material. The publisher is going to determine exactly who is going to be the recipients of this information. It's important that they get to control exactly the targeted people that need this information in order to get their jobs done. They'll control exactly when they want to issue a new version of this information and distribute that out to the list of all of the current subscribers. Subscribers can choose to remove themselves from the list if they don't want to be part of the information flow any longer. They also can choose which piece of information that they want to be looking at, whether it's the most current piece of information or perhaps back one version. If new versions have been issued to me by the publisher, the next time I connect in, I want to have the latest version automatically update on my screen. As you can see, with the automatic update, this allows my database table to automatically refresh the moment I've connected and received a new version. Using the Workgroup desktop in Paradox for Windows 4.5, I'm able to subscribe to the information that's being published to me and bring it down onto my local PC, and that information stays with me wherever I'm going.
David, nice video. I'm sure it'll do very well. Listen, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Stay here for one moment, and what should we do? Kathy?
We don't have a lot of time before Peter's presentation, so let's see how our work group is doing.
Okay, why don't we check in with Tim in finance. Tim, are you there?
Yes, I am. How are you doing, Richard?
Pretty good. How are you doing? Listen, you've been pulled into this. Have you gotten some information? What's going on?
Yes, I have. I'm doing an analysis of our sales, our actual sales in Scandinavia, and I'm breaking them out by sales channel for analysis.
Gotcha. What product are you using? What's happening?
I'm working with Quattro Pro for Windows. As you can see here on the screen, I'm subscribing to information that Ken in MIS published to me for our current sales in Scandinavia. So I've inserted that information, and if I want to break that information out by sales channel, I can pull it into the data modeling desktop within Quattro Pro for Windows.
So the idea is to kind of take the information that came in and use the data modeling desktop to play with it, get it in the right format, the right kind of analysis? Is that?
That's exactly right. I'd like to be able to see, for example, if I need to see my products listed out here, the different sales channels I work with, and the quantities that I've sold in each particular combination there, I can just place them where I want, and then I have them in the format that I need to do the particular analysis that I want.
Pretty slick. Do you have everything you need?
I don't think so. Actually, as we look at these numbers here, one thing that comes to mind is I've got the quantities I need, but I don't have pricing information. If I'm going to pull this together and analyze sales revenue, I'll need pricing as well.
Gotcha. Let's see. Pricing, I guess, is controlled by marketing. Andrew and marketing, I think. Why don't we check in with Andrew? Andrew, are you there in marketing?
Yes, Richard.
Listen, we have an urgent request for some pricing information. Is that information that you support?
Sure. I have a publication all set up for pricing information, and I can send that information to Tim by going to my Workgroup desktop and adding him to the subscription list.
Gotcha. Is that hard to do?
Not at all. And since we're in the same building, I'll use a WordPerfect Office transport.
Gotcha.
And that's all there is to it.
So that'll automatically add Tim, I guess, huh?
Exactly. And now every time I update price information, Tim will automatically receive the latest version.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. What were you doing just before this request came in?
Well, I'm doing a price volume analysis for the sales group, and I'm using a query by example to analyze sales information, which I'll receive from MIS via the Workgroup desktop, and linking it to price information residing on an Interbase server here in marketing.
So all that's handled, I guess, transparently by that query, huh?
That's correct.
Very good. Well, thank you very much, and I'll let you get back to work.
Okay, Richard.
Thanks a lot, Andrew.
You're welcome.
I'm sure Peter's going to appreciate all the help he's getting, and they're all working together well.
Sounds good so far.
Users need to share information. The data needs to flow from user to user, independent of the location of those users and independent of the technology that those users have in their environment. The challenge that we as vendors have is to take the technology and match it with those user requirements. Borland recognizes what those user needs are and are providing products that meet the needs of those users. OBEX is an example of that because it allows users to communicate independent of the underlying infrastructure so that information can flow across these networks utilizing the applications that they're accustomed to using, utilizing the network services that are available to provide a very sensible solution to what typically has been a very complex problem.
We've been planning this since the very first day we met.
It's always been our dream.
You've come to the right place. Here at Eddie Edwards Software Publishing Company and Car Wash, we're in the business of making dreams come true.
No, we're not a big business now.
Oh, neither were we when we started out, but look how we've grown.
By making dreams come true.
Okay, well, we were looking for a nice office software bundle.
With a GUI interface.
We have just the thing.
You'll love it.
Here you are.
Eddie's office software?
Mm-hmm.
Is this well known?
Oh, absolutely, by those people who have heard of it.
Well, John, it really, it looks great. I mean, we have a spreadsheet and a database and room for a word processor.
Look at the price.
That's the best part. This is very exclusive. Think of the name.
Eddie's?
Well, believe me, you won't just see it on anybody's desktop.
Well, look, according to this box, the spreadsheet rows are where the columns should be.
And the columns are where the rows should be.
It's just a convenience feature.
Well, it doesn't seem very convenient.
It was for Eddie.
What about the data format? Roman numerals?
Eddie was way ahead of his time.
Roman numerals are 4,000 years old.
Well, he was also a nostalgia buff.
Listen, right now it's just the two of us, but someday we're hoping for a lot of little offices.
Yeah.
You've heard of networks, email, LANs?
Oh, so this software can network?
Absolutely.
Easily?
I wouldn't rule out a lucky break.
I'm afraid this isn't for us.
Sorry.
What are you talking about?
Well, the software is very expensive, it's hard to use, and it doesn't work with anything else.
And you said you make dreams come true.
Well, we do.
Ours.
Look, our car's ready. We should go.
Well, throwing us at a Ginsu knife.
No, no, no.
Sorry.
Thanks very
I spent a lot of time with you. Don't run out. Hey, wait a minute.
You know, while everyone agrees that a solution should be open, everyone seems to have their own definition of what open is and what it means. Our next guest knows all about working with open solutions firsthand, and I'd like to very much welcome the Vice President and Corporate and Strategic Marketing Vice President for WordPerfect, Mark Calkins. Mark, welcome.
Thanks for
Mark, I wonder if you could start out by saying a little bit about how WordPerfect and Borland are working together, or why are you here? What's happening?
Thanks, Richard. Appreciate being here. There's really two reasons why WordPerfect is proud to be a part of your announcement. First of all, WordPerfect Office has been enabled, or is being enabled to support OBEX so that when information is published by any user, it can be subscribed by any other Office user. One thing about WordPerfect Office is it runs on a lot of different network operating systems, and so sometimes when you have those mixed environments, it can be the common thread that can allow you to publish and subscribe data easily.
In other words, the kind of Workgroup desktop that we're showing here in Quattro Pro and Paradox will work for WordPerfect Office users, huh?
Exactly, exactly. The second key thing that we want to do is be able to enable all of the WordPerfect applications so that they can be able to easily take part in this publishing and subscribing capability. So the Workgroup desktop can be fully integrated. I have all of the features built into WordPerfect, WordPerfect in Forms and presentations, so it's just a natural part of the product.
I know that's very much part of what our two companies are doing together. Now, this issue of open, is that purely an issue of WordPerfect and Borland products, or more open than that? What are your thoughts?
The thing is that the Workgroup Enabling Kit really allows vendors like us to be able to support it very easily. But it's also not just for, the thing that I like about the product is that it doesn't allow just developers or vendors like ourselves to support it, but also any in-house developer could actually build their own support with just about any Windows application.
That a company or a corporation can kind of use the Workgroup Enabling Kit in their own environment in order to build custom Workgroup solutions?
Absolutely. It's very powerful.
Sounds good.
That sounds like some great information. I appreciate you being with us today for it.
But what about my clip, Richard? Aren't you going to show that?
You've got a clip too, I guess. Everybody does.
Let's take a look. Roll Mark's clip.
Thanks.
You know, I'm excited to be able to work together with Borland. Our working together makes a lot of sense. There are a number of areas where we can really benefit our customers. We have products that supplement Borland's products, and they certainly have products that supplement our products. And the winner in this situation is, of course, our customer. They get innovative software that helps them with their work.
You know, Mark, I think what we can actually do is take a look at how our work group has put WordPerfect to use, put it through its paces. I know we're getting close to that deadline for that sales report. Why don't we take a look at, why don't we go to Peter in sales, who I know is in his hotel room. Peter, are you there?
Hi, Richard. How are you?
Pretty good. What's going on? You working on that report or what?
Well, yeah, I just finished typing the body of the report. It's ready to go. It looks pretty good.
What are you using for the report?
Using WordPerfect. I'm just sitting here waiting for the prices.
Uh-huh. And in the meantime, presumably you're working on other parts of your proposal, or what's happening?
Oh, yeah. It won't be a problem either. Once the prices are published, I'll be able to drop it right into the document. But while we're waiting for it, I'm going to take a look at some current reports that our MIS group has sent out. There's a whole flow of information that comes out of there, and I need to see it. So here, I'm going to take a look at a custom in-house application that MIS built in Excel using the Borland Workgroup Enablement Kit.
So what's that let you do? Maybe you could show us a bit.
Well, I'd like to, sure. Taking a look at the screen, there's a little button here. And this custom button will allow me to open up a custom dialog. And again, they wrote this. It's the same usual Excel interface and just a custom button. So now I can choose which report I want to look at. I'm going to look at the weekly sales report and accept that. And now it's going to paste it right into the spreadsheet. The great thing is whenever they publish new information, it'll be automatically updated into the spreadsheet. And there it is.
And that information was some kind of MIS report, maybe done in Paradox or something like that, huh?
That's right, Richard. And you know, the best part is I didn't have to learn any new software. I'm using my same old tools, and this is really convenient.
Sounds good. We'll keep checking in with you, and hopefully we can get you that marketing information pretty soon.
Thanks.
Thanks.
We're going to follow the solution around the work group because we're getting ready to count down to that meeting.
Well, it started a few months ago when Richard Schwartz approached me and said, listen, why don't Apple and Borland get together to ensure better interoperability between Windows and Macintosh computers? I thought it was a great idea, and I'm happy to talk publicly about this cooperation between our companies. More importantly, I think it's really exciting to note that Borland is going to ensure that OBEX-equipped Windows computers can enjoy the services of Apple's open collaboration environment, collaboration servers. They're called PowerShare servers. This makes life so much better for customers who own both Macintosh and Windows computers and want to have collaboration between them.
Kathy, you know, that's a very key point that Gushrod made on the tape, that basically as part of the openness of the solution, crossing platforms, covering more of how a company actually works is a key part of that. And very pleased with the collaboration we've had with Apple in doing that.
All going together to make the success, I guess.
Yep.
We've got Andrew standing by, so let's go to him.
Okay, Andrew in marketing, are you there?
Yes, Richard.
Can you let us know, give us an update, what's going on?
Things are going great. I just published the results of my analysis to Peter in his hotel room of the low-volume products in Scandinavia.
Gotcha. Can you show us a bit about how you did that?
Sure. I just went to the publication icon, and here you can see the subscriber is Peter Marquez. And actually, since he's in a hotel room, I've used the MCI mail transport.
Gotcha. And as I recall, you brought that data together by doing a query that was a combination of interbase data that you were responsible for, together with some actuals published by MIS, huh?
That's correct.
Very good, very good. Well, good work in pulling that together. Thanks a lot. We'll check back.
Great, that's good job, Andrew. Well, it looks like we've got about 6 minutes to go here.
So welcome back, and so we're going to talk about flexibility. Flexibility is really important because, you know, if you're a small business or a large business and you want to start with just a user, actually you can't start Workgroup, it's like working with yourself, but that wasn't meant to be funny, okay? So anyway, the bottom line is you start with 2 users. You can start with 2 copies of Quattro Pro for Windows or Paradox for Windows or WordPerfect for Windows, and when we'll get out the Workgroup desktop, and you can grow as you need it. But also you can leverage the investment as a customer that you made in your network, in your Lotus Notes installation, in your WordPerfect Office and MCIMA, whatever it is. Richard, when you were building after a year of work on this, and we were starting to exchange stuff, and I said, you know, we're going to have a difficult time, I think, to differentiate that from email, because people say, okay, well, I'll send you the data on email. What's the difference between this and a mail-enabled app? So, so why don't you elaborate on that?
Sure, Philippe. I guess that information flow that we talked about is really the key. It's really the fact that email is a one-shot thing. You basically go into your email system, you read your mail, you look at stuff that comes in, maybe it has some attachments to it or whatever, but it doesn't really provide any flow of information, ability to deal with new versions as they come in, or the ability to take that and really embed it within whatever your work really is, whether it's in your spreadsheet or your database or whatever, so that as that information changes and new versions come in, you can really apply it. That's kind of the difference between email. The point there, I guess, is to distinguish between email as one possible way that people are connected and email as the ultimate goal in your email cabinet in which you read your interpersonal stuff.
So the goal of all this is more office automation than rather have everybody work in an office on their computer and not meeting anymore or not getting their work done. You know, like the big danger of email is organizations end up talking to themselves and they forget to talk to their customers. And the idea here is to automate the office and get people out of staring at their terminal all day by automatically maintaining those versions of updates and be able to maintain meaningful and persistent relationships between objects across the network.
Yeah, bottom line, putting the work group support in where the work goes, in the individual apps.
Well, it's almost time for our big presentation, so let's see how Peter is doing.
Okay, Peter, what's cooking? How you doing?
Yes, Richard, I'm doing great.
Have you gotten that information yet?
Well, Richard, let's take a look. Let's look and see. I'm in WordPerfect and the Workgroup desktop. I'm going to press the Use button right now, and let's see if it's in there. Here's a list of material I received, and here it is, Scandinavian prices, data for Hudson meeting.
Published by marketing. What happens now?
Well, I'm just going to insert that right into the document. And the great thing about this is now, once this is in here, I'll be able to print this information no matter where I go and update it whenever an edition is published. It's a fantastic system, and here it is on the screen right now.
Wow, so this is exactly the information that was published by marketing and you've used in WordPerfect. That's pretty good.
That's right. I'm going to print it right now.
Okay, you better hurry because we're getting short on time for that proposal, you know what I mean?
That's right. Good luck, Peter. You got about 2 minutes to get to your meeting.
All right, thanks a lot.
Good luck, Peter. I think what we've just seen is really indicative of how work groups are changing the way companies work. What do you think, Philippe?
Well,
how's that for a lead-in? What do you
I
think?
hope so. I mean, the idea is really office automation, and as we said, you know, we've been users of email for a long time, and most of the work group stuff that we've seen at customers ends up being sophisticated email or bulletin board systems, and you end up having people riveted in front of their terminals and trying to do everything and not meeting anymore, not sharing, really sharing as human beings. The goal of the PC revolution is not to put people in front of machines. The goal of PC revolution is to create automation to kind of let people interact as human beings. And that's really what our vision is here, rather than have people typing in front of computers all day long, to create office automation to essentially get our job done, talk to customers, work with customers, and get our nose off our screens all day.
Now, let me ask you a question, Philippe, if you don't mind. Are you really talking about integrating or allowing customers to integrate in a really open environment? For example, the kind of Excel use that we saw here. Is that really part of the workgroup vision that, as you see it?
Well, the essence of computing has always been interoperability. What distinguishes the PC industry from any other industry ever before is the fact that no matter who you are as a software company, your software has to work with somebody else's software. We have to work with Microsoft's operating systems, IBM's operating systems, but we can't assume that everybody's going to have Quadro Pro. We hope they will, but they'll have Excel, they'll have maybe 1, 2, 3 and other pieces of software. We have to make sure that our products are interoperable. So the vision we have is to workgroup enable all these products whether we're working with the manufacturers, whether customers are building that Workgroup enablement themselves in their custom apps. So it's a completely open solution. There's no proprietary APIs. You can use it today. And I think we demoed that, and we showed WordPerfect Excel and Quattro Pro and Paradox working. So we'll end up with the most integrated suite, best-of-breed products in the industry together with WordPerfect. And I think that's very important.
Definitely.
Sounds good. Now,
I've got it. Richard, Billy, here it is. All right.
Hey, Peter, what you got? You got it.
There it is.
Whoa.
Here's my report.
Hey, wonderful. We get some camera on that. Good job. Good job. What do you think?
That's great. That's sales in Zimbabwe for...
No. Is that Scandinavia or Zimbabwe? Wait a minute.
It's really Scandinavia, and it's silk pleated floor length.
Ooh.
Whatever that is.
That's the low volume stuff, right?
As soon as I see that sales report.
That's great. That's your report, Richard.
And can actually
Thank
be done
you.
in just a few minutes. That's great. That's incredible, isn't it? That's good. Okay. That's about it for us. We'd like to thank Richard Schwartz, Daniel Clausen, Rob Dickerson, David Watkins, and Mark Calkin. We'd like to thank our work group, and a special thank you to our audience here in the Hudson Theater for helping with this demonstration. We appreciate you. My name is Kathy Chambly.
I'm Philippe Kahn, and I'd like to thank the whole team who built this for 3 years. It takes vision, architecture, and implementation, and that was great.
That's right. Just let us know if there's a problem Borland can solve for you.
Very well.